And alright, we're live. Welcome back to the Battle of Midway. It's the 6v6 tournament organized by MRBC. Today we have with us Crossfire and Davion Strike Force. It's Season 4, Week 3, and it's North America Pool B. So let's get the match screen up. I'm gonna cut to the chase because the teams are already in the lobby and they're waiting to go. Yep, and before I forget, it's Polar Conquest 3 caps. And I'll be casting today. My name's a Headless Chicken. Great to meet you. Now give me a moment, I'm going to tap back into the game. You might hear some incessant MechWarrior Online music in the background. Alright, the teams are forming up. They are just currently getting in their getting up their mechs and setting up their teams. So we're waiting for a lock and then we can get going in a moment. Okay, hopefully now the music won't be too jarring. And here's a reminder, the first drop is Polar Highlands. We have 3-point Conquest. Strategies that we've seen so far include lots of LRMs and some blue laser poking and some PPCs. I have no idea what these two teams will be bringing into the fight today, but it should be interesting. And it's just a quick reminder, C-bill variants only, and you can only bring a maximum of 3 of a certain chassis in all the drops. And don't worry, we have giveaways for much later. If I'm not wrong, I have 2 MC codes and 1 mech bay. Alright, so both teams are locked. I'll just confirm one more time and we're good to go. Now just stand by for a moment as we load into the game, and I'll be inside the game in a short while. Let the spinning circle do its thing. And here we go, it's a wonderful day on Polar Highlands. Again, I have to say that every single match, don't I? Now let's look through what we have. On the CrossFit side, it's a Splat Linebacker, a Splat Assassin, another Splat Assassin. Looks like Clan Crossfire is going for the full SRM build. Stealth armor on that mech. So they're using up all their assassins and linebackers, well at least most of them, and let's see what the Davion Strike Force side has. It's a Piranha, LRMs. Laser vomit.
Engaged.
Laser vomit. So it looks like they're going for a mid to long range strategy. Well, all except that Piranha. And yes, AC2s as expected. They have largely ignored Theta in favor of Kappa and Epsilon, but we're not sure if the fight will pan out right between the 2 points or if they'll go to Theta. At the moment, they seem like they are running towards Epsilon, so 2 death balls are going to collide, and I'm not sure which will win, the long range one or the splat one. There's some movement towards Theta, and Davion Strike Force might be getting a bit too spread out because Clan Crossfire is staying together really well. They have eyes on Crossfire. I think the fight's gonna start soon. And the fight has begun. The Wolfhound has been caught. If played right, they can make really short work of him. And they receive some fire, but the fight is still on. The only issue is that if they chase, they will risk overextending themselves. And the fight has begun. They've run into the concave and they're firing on each other. The Jaegers have been taking some hits. They can't afford to take many more of those hits. And Hellbringer goes down. That's a surprise. Let's take a look through one of the assassin's eyes.
Airstrike online. New target acquired.
Yes, they've gotten into the happy range where SRMs are free to do all the damage into the range. The range guys didn't get enough intelligence. Neither did they scout well enough. So, but there's a chance because they have been going for legs. Is there still a chance? But it seems heavily in favor of Clan Crossfire right now. The SRMs are short range, it just deals so much damage compared to the lasers, and you can't get clean burns on them anyway. And they're inside the minimum range of the LRMs. Just chasing down the Cicada. It's leg and it's going to go down soon. The first match is won by Clan Crossfire, 6-2. And don't mind me if I sound a little bit bored, but that's mostly because I'm talking to myself. Ha.
We've captured Resource Point Sigma.
So here's a quick rundown of what happened here. The damage on the Crossfire side shows that they managed to get into range and get their damage out on the enemy, whereas for the ones on the Davion Strike Force side, they haven't really been able to utilize their range too well, so they've been suffering as a result. And now, let's change the screen. Alright, now give me a moment as I settle the lobby. Alright, so hold on for a moment as we set up the lobby. So now we are preparing for the second drop. I will be updating it, so give me a moment. Let's go take a quick look at the map strap while the team's set up. So what we had earlier was a really standard cap for Kappa and a cap for Epsilon. Theta was completely not in the match earlier, but the only difference was that when the push was called, at Epsilon they were all balled up, whereas at Kappa some of them were splitting up and moving towards Theta, whereas the rest were heading towards Epsilon or hiding at Kappa. So when they got pushed on by Clan Crossfire, they were caught a little bit unaware because he was scouting and he didn't really expect all the SRMs in his face. But he did a good job leading them back into the concave, but the concave didn't really work out because they didn't have the range advantage. They weren't able to just pelt them from range, but they were always inside the range of the SRMs. So it just didn't work out too well for them. Nothing too complex here, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. And let's get back to the lobby and see whether they are ready. And now we're just waiting for the game to start. So far we've seen a splat build on one side and a long-range LRM and laser build on the other side. So I'm not sure whether it will change this time, whether we'll see any action on Theta, or if we'll see splat on splat, or if the teams will be swapping up their strategies. And both of them are going through the final checks for their mechs. Meanwhile, give me a second to get a mug of water because I'm getting a little bit dehydrated. It's morning here. I don't work in the morning. I love me mummy. She makes the best tea around. And now both teams are ready, so let's hit it. Alright, and it's Polar Drop 2. Let's see what kind of action we have today. Alright, looking at the builds. Well, looking from the mechs from this screen, it looks like Davion's Strike Force is bringing in the splats this time, while Clan Crossfire might be going for a range strategy. There's only one way to find out what they really brought, so let's take a look. On the Davion Strike Force side, linebacker, splat. Linebacker, splat. Oh, it's the Vomit Piranha. Vomit Wolfhound. Splat linebacker and Splat Commando, so they're going full SRMs. Let's see what's on the CrossFit side. CrossFits, yep. So it's a Splat Arctic Wolf. Yes, it has massive firepower. ATM Huntsman, now this is something that will shake the game up. LRM Trebuchet, as we've seen yesterday from White Knight Legion. Streak Huntsman.
We have gained Epsilon. Kappa
And
is under
Streak
enemy
Huntsman. Yep, they're going full on in this. So it looks much different from the previous play, where it was only Kappa and Epsilon. Clan Crossfire seems to be heading towards the middle of the map. This time Davion's Strike Force is all balled up and ready to go, but Clan Crossfire does have the range advantage. Okay, let's see what Krasnopesky sees.
Target spotted.
Online.
He's got clear lines.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
So he can see, yep, he can see all the Davion Strike Force mechs out there. The only question is, Davion probably doesn't know where his team is. This time he's the one overextending to scout.
Activated.
Pops a UAV and he backs off. Oh, and I see that little knock down there.
Acquired.
He's not taking a chance to burn them even though he has lines on them. 500 meter range. They're still balled up. Yep, they're still balled up. They're ready to go anytime. Strikes are being dropped, and no one has really taken damage at the moment yet. That strike narrowly missed the commando. Clan Crossfire seems to be advancing slowly towards Theta, and what we have here is a NASCAR while Davion Strike Force moves to Kappa. You have chosen to ignore Kappa, and Krasnopesky, he may have a little rude awakening. Yep, he's taking fire, he's backing off, and he's got another UAV up. Sorry, I choked earlier.
Theta is controlled by the enemy.
Crossfire has taken Theta for the 2 camp lead. Not sure if Davion Strike Force is going to go for Kappa, but I think the fight's going to begin proper soon because there's lots of open ground here. They've chosen a great place to engage. Linebacker taking lots of LRM fire down to 60-something%. This does not look good for him. Let's see what Krasnopesky sees. Did he land a knock? I think he landed a knock.
Target
Yes,
acquired.
that's why he's getting torn apart. Oh, he got hit on the back earlier.
New target.
Not boding well for Davion Strike Force. They're going to lose one mech before they even join the fight proper, but they're getting into range right now. They're under UAV though. And 2 of them have already taken major damage. It's really not looking good. ATM boats in this short space, they might be really scary. And a Huntsman goes down to the splats. Wow. They got into the minimum range of the Trebuchet and they're just tearing him apart. But the Trebuchet is... Yep, it is down. It's not a priority target. I would go for ATM boats first, personally. Knives commit suicide. CrossFit gets a kill. It's still a 3-on-3. It could go anybody's way this time. The Huntsman is dead weight because it just doesn't have the space to fire those ATMs. And the Raven has medium lasers, but the Narc is considered more or less useless. Look at the amount of UAVs they have up.
The enemy is at 25%.
Can the SRMs delete the lights? He's riding the heat curve, and he's the only guy on the team that can actually do damage.
New target
Target
acquired.
spotted.
And the Huntsman goes down. This is not looking good for Clan Crossfire at the moment. They only have one mech with lots of firepower, while the Raven is, well, not really the
New
best mech.
target
Oh,
acquired.
but it gets a kill. Kraz gets a kill.
Target acquired.
Kraz gets another kill.
New target
With this,
acquired.
they have just ignored the Raven the whole game, and he's been taking pot shots at them.
Override shut down.
Yes, and Bognar here, trying to make the play. Now, but one touch on his ST means he's gone. And he goes down.
The enemy has capped enough resources.
It's a closer game,
We've failed.
and 4-6. Clan Crossfire wins 6-4. So the damage numbers, it's not surprising that they have massive numbers on this side given the large amounts of weapons with homing that they used. As for the other side, the two linebackers that got knocked and spotted early, they just went down way too fast. Well, back to the cast. So now I'll be updating the scoreboard. And here we are. Now, give me a moment again as I change the lobby settings, because the next map is going to be Alpine Peaks. So much fun. Right, this time let's go for the map strat. So, quick run. This time, don't forget, Team 2 is CrossFit, and Team 1 is Davion Strike Force. So, it mostly went the same. They went to their respective points, but it was at this point where CrossFit decided to move to Theta. Meanwhile, they had a friendly little Raven. I'll just use a light scouting out here. While Davion Strike Force was moving around Epsilon and trying to scout out Kappa. So Davion Strike Force tried to move towards Kappa, and he was spotted by the Raven. And the Raven decided to move back to his team, of course, which was the sensible thing to do, popping UAVs on the way back somewhere around here and here. So what he did was that the moment he got back to his team, which was at Theta, he started narking them, and he was deadly accurate with the narcs. He got the linebackers, and he softened two of them up before they could even get into range. And those two went down so fast and gave them a decisive advantage for the early game. And after that, it's as you saw, a full-out brawl erupted. Some mechs were invalidated because of their loadouts. But at the end of the day, CrossFit won. Yes, I'm not too good with in-depth strategies, but I love the light fights because they're just, hey, press W and win. Not too much strategy there, but of course, they tried to spice it up with the ATMs and LRMs. Credit to them, but then again, I'm a hitless chicken, so what the hell do I know? So let me update the scoreboard. We are going on to the next game, which is Drop 3. Alright, and teams are forming up. They're subbing in some members, changing up their tonnages. So let's wait for a moment. So we're just holding on. Both teams are still dealing with their strategies. So, let's run down on what's coming for the next match. It's an Alpine Peaks Conquest. This is a very interesting map because, as per usual, you know that Alpine Peaks... Let me swap to the map strat. Give me a moment. And yes, Alpine Peaks, usually you'll have a lot of action at Theta, which will be somewhere around I7 if I'm not wrong. And there'll be one more cap point far off in J5. Give me a moment, I need to confirm that. I just can't remember for the life of me. Yeah, Sigma's in J5 and Theta's in I7. So with the elimination of this point and this point, there's nothing much to fight for on this side except for Epsilon and Kappa, and those are already free gifts to the respective teams. So what's going to happen is most likely both teams will rush for Kappa and Epsilon, and they'll send a little token light to get Gamma. But what would be interesting is if they don't fight based on the points, but based on controlling the map while one light goes around. So instead of having a massive brawl of 5 people on Epsilon and 5 people on Kappa, boring stuff, it'll be interesting if you see one team try to take Overwatch over here, and the other team can also attempt to take Overwatch over here, because there are lots of nice long lines of fire. But hey, I wouldn't know what these teams have in mind, whether it'll be long range or short range, but we'll find out in a moment. Be right back. I'll be tabbing right into MechWarrior Online to check on the status of the lobby. And we're waiting for the teams to lock still. I'm not sure if they're looking forward towards Alpine Peaks, but don't worry, they'll have to enjoy it, like it or not. So we are still waiting for the lobby. Clan Crossfire is subbing out some members, needs a minute. And of course that means you'll have to spend 1 minute listening to me talk to myself. I'll spare you the torture. Oh, but if you're so interested, we can always continue talking about the strats that they could bring. So what's interesting is that the highest point of the map is in I9, but most mechs do not have the pitch to fully use that place, because you can't look down into say I8, but maybe you can try to hit in I7 or H7. It's a really good place of to receive, but the issue is that mechs that come up here, once they cross into the H9 area, they're actually more or less immune. You just can't get them, and they'll just come up right behind you and it'll become a brawl instead of map control. So even if you want to control the map by taking Hamburger Hill, you can't do it at this position, the highest point. It'd be good to have a light there on Vantage, I do suppose, but most likely they should be camping around the H9 area, because the H9 area has lots of sight lines over to the Gamma point, and they also have lots of sight lines towards this whole area here. And for the remainder of the area, that's the point of this mech here. So you get effective map control. But that will only work if you, well, have LRMs or extreme range weapons. If you don't have the extreme range weapons, you're forced to run around the corners of these mountains and find a place for you to flank the enemy with. It's possible, but with the amount of open ground and the off chance that our enemy is not like right on top of the mountain, you might run into a few issues here. Now I'm going to check back into MechWarrior Online. Give me a second. And the circle is spinning. And here we are. It's Alpine Peaks. And it's a reminder of the format. It's 3-point Conquest, and this time you'll be seeing a bit of heavy and perhaps assault action. Right, here we go. Okay, so the match has started. Let's see who we get some eyes on. And don't forget, if they touch Theta, they'll have to kill everything and win by camp victory.
Command coming in. Capture and hold the resource points. Stop any hostiles.
And here we go. Looking at the mechs straight off the bat, it seems like they are all bringing extreme range. So yeah, Battle Masters, there's only one way it's going to go with Battle Masters, large lasers, and whoa, on the other side we have lots of laser vomit mechs as well. But what I'm interested in is that Clan Crossfire is going for the token Cap, and they are rushing for Gamma. That means that they might be foregoing, oh wait, they're moving up the mountain slowly. So it might be a map control strat. Are they going to meet on the mountain and fight? It seems quite possible at the moment, but for now, let's take a look at the loadouts. For Davion Strike Force side, ER lasers, more ER lasers, more ER lasers,
Airstrike online.
and yep, it's a scouting cheetah with the machine guns. I don't understand why he chose light though, because of the DPS one, but maybe he wants the range and just to crit out stuff at range.
Airstrike online.
Large lasers as expected.
Airstrike online.
And large lasers and GOS as expected. As for the Clan Crossfire side,
acquired.
Target spotted.
Airstrike online.
I don't think I'm surprised.
Airstrike.
Yep, I'm not surprised.
Airstrike online.
Yep, a Wolfhound with medium lasers. He could afford to go for ER medium lasers on this map though.
Airstrike online.
Yes, I am totally not surprised. And the Grasshopper gets picked off by a whole firing line. Let's see what we've got. So, Clan Crossfire has the top of the mountain. So they're playing the map control strat, whereas Davion Strike Force, they're caught on the lower ground. And the area that they're in is not exactly the best for trading, but if they can get behind this mountain, on this ridge here, and peek well, which their mechs are not exactly the best at, they are good for standing in the open and just firing on the enemy. If they can get into the cover and just peek them one by one, or at least as a line, then there might be a bit more of a chance. Let's see what Davion Strike Force is seeing.
Airstrike online.
They know that there are some lights in their backfield. They're trying to find them, but they can't exactly know because they're surrounded. Oh, and that's an okay burn on the Ice Ferret. Honestly, if you're running this kind of build and you see a light attacking you, should be alphaing 3 or 4 of them because you need that burst damage out, and he takes a strike. There's a fight going on at Gamma. I'm trying to move over to see what's going on. As for Clan Crossfire, it seems like they're moving down the mountain to get better firing lines on the enemy. Kappa is going to get capped. And the long-range trade continues. So far, the scores across the board seem more or less equal, but the fatties of Clan Crossfire, they have been taking much less damage. There seems to be a light 1v1 on the other side. Let's take a look at what's happening.
Target spotted.
Yep, it's a light trading fight.
Target spotted.
And with the lasers, the Wolfhound is at an advantage, but if he goes in open ground, he'll be fodder for the enemy to fire on. But the Cheetah is almost dead. He has... If he can get into cover and continue firing on him...
Target destroyed.
Oh! It goes down. So now the Wolfhound has free reign on going for captures. The enemy does not have any fast mechs remaining. The long-range trade still continues. And this time let's hop in the pilot of Absence. Let's see what he's doing. His CT's red, his arm's almost gone, ST's almost red. For the Morale 2C, if you're going to fight at range, it's best not to torso twist because your psych torsos are just such big targets.
Heatsink destroyed. Left torso critical damage.
What he should be doing in this situation is poking out an alpha in 4 or 3. And now, Clan Crossfire has a lot of confidence. They have begun to poke out together and just stand in the open to get shots.
Target spotted.
This is what it looks like from Captain Cat. His CT is open. I can still afford to peek because of the structure in it. Not to mention that the Bellmaster has the superior peeking profile. It can just poke out and hit with all 6 of its high laser mounts. Krasnopesky kills Bognar. So that is the Grasshopper at the start of the game, which took lots of damage. It is currently down. CXF still has the position of power on the mountain. And meanwhile, Steelwater is just running around getting some pot shots here and there. Hunter Kilgore, he's stuck in the pouch below and he's gonna get flanked by a Wolfhound. That is an area where it's a blind spot, but his mech can't do much about it either. He can get fire and he can't get fired on. Now Kilgore is getting some burns on the Wolfhound. He gets the dead arm, and some of his friends are firing on them as well, but his friends are suppressed by the mechs above him. Let's see what Haxer sees from his cockpit.
Target spotted.
And in that moment, oh dang it, I missed the kills. Kilgore is going down in a moment. The raw power of the Wolfhound is just too much. There he goes. And Evapson's the last mech. No, it's not the last mech. What am I saying? Eisenhorn, the Mat 2C all the way in the back. For this match, I can't really say much about it. Basically, Clan Crossfire made a very good idea of taking the hill. They got the advantage, and the issue with Davion Strikeforce was that they were just not able to respond well. They were peeking ridges one by one and getting distracted by the lights in their backfield. It was not exactly the best play and awareness in the game, but at the very least, well, we know that the map control strategy works. I don't have to feel stupid about suggesting it.
We failed.
So for team stats, it's a very nice damage spread on the CXF side, whereas for Davion's side, you can see that the Grasshopper 5P got caught out really, really early, and Hunter Kilgore also didn't do much because he was spending most of the time in the dead spot. Right, and now to the map strat. Be right back. Oh, and I need to settle some stuff for the lobby, so yeah, give me a moment. Alright, the invites are out, and we are waiting for the next match to begin. It's going to be Alpine Peaks again. And here we are. It is Alpine Peaks Conquest, but the sites this time, the spawns, will be switched. So now, yes, all of them are all inside. And while they set up their mechs, I'm going to hit the map strat. So earlier, the bulk of Clan Crossfire was headed towards this direction. I thought they were playing for Gamma, but actually they moved up to H9 to take the hill, position of power. Assert your dominance. One light went over to Kappa, and he got it. Then he started moving around over to Gamma, and he eventually found himself somewhere in E9. So as for Davion's strike force, what happened was that similarly they had the idea of sending one light to Gamma to get the cap, and the majority of the team was stuck somewhere along this ridge. It's a great peaking position, but when you are faced with a superior firing line where they just stand out in the open and fire on you, you can't afford to peak one by one, which is what Davion's strike force did. What they should have done was to just fire. Man up, fire on them. Poke together as a team and coordinate. But there was also a light in their backfield that was free after the caps. That was the Ice Ferret, somewhere here. The other light was an Arctic... no, it's not a cheetah, it was the Wolfhound. So, because of the distraction, they kept turning their backs, and they couldn't focus on whether they wanted to attack the ferret who was running around here, or they couldn't, or the main force which was sitting here and getting free shots on them. Eventually, the line crumbled and they split up. The Marauder 2Cs were left along the ridge, while the Hunchback 2C found himself here. The Grasshopper eventually moved south. I'm not sure where exactly he died because I was a little bit blurred, I'm sorry. And he also met his end because of the firing line on top of the mountain. As for the light fight in E8, it was also within the jurisdiction of the H9 mechs, and the Wolfhound just tore them to shreds and had free reign over the rest of the map. I hope that was clear, because I did not see most of the action. Alpine Peaks is one of those maps I hate to cast because it's so massive. But never mind, the teams are still swapping, and we'll see something else the next round. I wonder what strategies they'll bring though. And both sides are ready. Let's have some fun. So, Alpine Peaks Conquest 3 caps, same tonnage as the previous round, and this time these spawns are swapped. So, let's see what happens now. Well, will DSF be able to come back from the 6-0 from last round? We'll only find out. Keep watching, keep your eyes peeled, and don't forget we have giveaways later. And here we go. The drop is ready, and let's get back to MechWarrior Online. So let's see what they have. Clan Crossfire bringing out all the Wolfhounds. I think I know what's on them. Should be medium lasers. Hellbringer Supernova C, which is the laser variant, probably PPCs or large lasers, and Pasha in a Warhawk Prime, which is, well, 4 PPCs. On the Davion Strike Force side, not much change up. They've got Battle Masters to replace the long-range mechs that they lost in the previous one. And so it looks like it's going to be a ranged fight again. Let's take a look. Yep, large laser fire.
Kappa is under enemy control.
Yep, Ear Medium Wolfhound. It's really cool, and it can reach up to 800 meters. It's great. Try it one day. And yep, it's the same mech from the previous game.
We have gained
Typical large laser Hellbringer. 5 large laser Supernova. I usually put 6 on mine. I wouldn't know why he would put 5, but okay. It must be because of the high mounts.
Online. Artillery strike online.
Yep, as expected,
Airstrike
PPC Warhawk.
online.
And large laser Supernova. And the other team,
Airstrike online.
as expected. Oh, by the way, they're moving up to Hamburger Hill. They're trying to bring CXF's strat on the previous map back onto them.
Gamma.
Airstrike online.
Hunchback 2C. PPC! Okay. But it's taken a massive hit to the side torso. It's almost dark yellow.
Airstrike online.
Yep, this cheetah again.
Need assistance.
Large laser Hellbringer.
Target spotted.
And large laser Battle Master. Let's see how it plays out from the sky. Both teams are moving like it's similar to the previous round, I suppose. They are forming up, main forces are forming up around the same areas. Except at Crossfire, they're much more daring than their Davion counterparts. They're really just standing in the open and firing together on whatever they see. Focus fire makes really quick work, don't forget. As for the other side, they're getting pelted. They're just getting pelted because they're peeking one by one like the previous round. The coordination is just not too good. As for the Wolfhounds, they are fired upon one Hellbringer and one Cheetah, and Hexa seems to be legged. He might be going down. Was that overconfidence or was that a strike? Either way, he is down, and now Steelwater is forced to deal with it himself. He has to run away because he is now under the umbrella. At least the umbrella that was set up on the hill. But this is not good for Clan Crossfire. They have lost the mech in the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game.
Airstrike online. Artillery strike online.
Steelwater still looks quite fresh.
Airstrike online.
Yes, Captain Cat in the Supernova. He's firing 3x2 for that burst damage. And that's a pretty good idea.
Resource points, Gamma.
As for the Warhawk, he's still trying to find lines. The only issue with the Warhawk is that the arms are really low slung. And he misses the 2 shots on the Hunchback, but it is at more than 1 kilometer. You can't expect him to hit all the time.
Artillery
Davion Strike Force getting their shit together. They're moving out into the open. They're going to take a position of power, and they're just going to rain lasers down on Clan Crossfire. They can afford it though. The red was probably a strike. So strikes are flying left and right. And yes, now it's Clan Crossfire's turn to be caught. They're losing trades and it's not looking too good for them at the moment. All the Strike Force really needs to do is just to stand at the top and just pick them away. But Crossfire has two cap points, so there is still the option for Crossfire to play it very passively and win via caps. So, Steelwater going full cap strat. So the fight continues at the main area. It's the main body against the main body. Ridge to ridge. Ridge to mountain to be specific.
Command confirming that we have
And a strike.
possession
It's a
of
nice
Gamma.
strike. Does it get anything? Almost does. But the large laser mechs on the Crossfire side are really healthy. In comparison, on the other side, they've been taking slightly more damage, not a lot more. But still, most of this fight is happening at more than 1 kilometer, so they're dealing scratch damage every time they fire on each other. Let's take a look at what one of the players sees.
We've already gained a quarter of the resources. Keep
Oh,
it
that's
up.
a brutal bird.
The enemy
All
is
to the
at
CD of the Hellbringer.
25%.
He's getting very good burns, but actually, if he's firing with impunity, he can afford to chain fire them in two groups. But, say, if you were facing a firing line, as I said earlier, the best strategy would just be pop out and alpha all your lasers because you can take it. Not to mention now, with dissipation increased, you can do that many more times as long as you don't break the ghost heat limit somehow by not having enough heat sinks. Shouldn't be the case. Yep, now they're... Yep, they're just taking their time, tearing them down. And Jim is moving forward. He's trying to get a better line on the enemy. Or maybe he's trying to get the PPCs to hit. But now, CrossFit has the cap advantage, although they have lower amounts of caps at the moment. 300 to 240. If it's going to be a waiting game, CrossFit will win. But because Davion Strike Force still has a light and CrossFit still has a light, you can't rule out the possibility of a cap game yet. Both sides can still afford to go for the caps. But if one side starts going down faster than the other, they might be forced to play more passively. Go full on caps, and the other side will have the chance to be a bit more aggressive. So it becomes a kill game instead of a cap game, but given how it's Alpine peaks, as long as the light survives, it might be possible to make a comeback. This time Crossfire is on the receiving end of the beating. Captain Cat taking lots of fire, down to 68%. Yep, Crossfire, they're stuck on the ridge and there's not much they can do to advance because they're just poking up into mechs standing in the open. This is why you take Hamburger Hill. You get the height advantage, you get the vantage point. Eisenhorn still being aggressive, although he's taking quite a beating. His CT might be open already.
Halfway to victory. We need to
Yes,
keep
his CD
holding
is
on to our
open, but
resource points.
he can still afford to make some trades. But yes, as I said, at this point of time, if your CT is open, you should minimize and just fire 4 or 5 ER large lasers at once. And not to mention, because he only has 5 ER large lasers, chances are he has a light fusion engine and a massive targeting computer. And that means having a superior range to the enemy who may not have a targeting computer of the same size. As ER large lasers also have a very good base range. Oh, and he gets Hunter Kilgore, who was in... What was Hunter Kilgore in? He was in a Battlemaster which was caught. We noticed that earlier, but that was clean. So now, across the board, the averages seem quite equal. There's only 3 minutes 30 seconds left on the clock. I'm not sure whether that will drive them to desperation. The invisible walls on Alpine peaks are not doing them any favors as well. Crossfire is now much more daring. They're just peeking together. And because Davion Strike Force is relatively beat up, they are a bit hesitant to poke into the firing line. They're still making worthwhile trades, although there seems to be a light skirmish happening between Steelwater and the Arctic Cheetah. The Arctic Cheetah, I'm sorry, I forgot the guy's name, is Teckle. Pasha has killed Eisenhorn, the open battle master. I'm never there for the action, am I? I'm sorry. And Steelwater gets picked out by the Overwatch. They've been shifting focus to their lights. It might be a focus on the cap game, but the main force is still waiting. It's just patiently waiting. Popped a Hunchback, it's not doing too well. It's taking a lot of damage. Hunchback 2C is very boxy for its size.
Target spotted.
And if you keep jumping from the same ridge, they're bound to notice you sometime. And loses the arm, but he's sneaking up on the Warhawk. Does he think he can take on the Warhawk? Yep, he jumps and he gets met with laser fire. Pasha is still out in the open, but he's covered by his teammates more or less, and now he's in the blind spot of the mountain. Currently it's the CrossFit's win by Conquest. If this continues, there's not much time left on the clock. If Tackle can get 2 of the caps, which means a 3 cap, they will have a chance. But if he gets 1, I'm quite skeptic that they will be able. And Pasha is moving to support the light so that Tackle doesn't get the cap off. Yep, and CrossFit is trying to solidify it.
Confirming that we have possession of Kappa.
What is Tackle doing here? He's trying to get lines with his single large laser, but it may be too little too late. And Davion Strike Force, they're going for the full commit, are they? I think they're trying to get Pasha out, but they're getting met by a very competent player. It's not going to end well for Bognar as it goes right now, but both of them are damaged. Yep, Pasha goes down. But Bognar has also taken a lot of damage in the meantime. Epsilon is about to go down. The Hunchback 2C has been capping. That was what they were trying to do. But with Kappa still there, and only 30 seconds left on the clock, it looks like CrossFit's victory. If possible, Tackle should have just stayed near the area of the cap at Kappa, and he should have just tickled whatever tried to get on the point. But the problem was that the point was mostly in CrossFit's jurisdiction for the most of the game. So now all the formations are broken, and yes, they get the kill on Captain Cat, but as I said, it's just too little too late.
We've gathered enough resources. This triumph will provide us huge
CrossFit wins
tactical
with
benefits.
a Conquest victory. So looking through the match score, Steelwater, he didn't really do much damage because he was only in the opening fight, and Hexer didn't do much either because he was caught out by surprise. As for the rest of them, you can see that the Warhawk has been doing a lot of lifting. I think with the new dissipation buffs, it can just deal so much damage. The rest of them don't really have much damage under the belt, but it's okay because they were making decent trades and they were winning by caps anyway. Same for the Davion Strike First side, it was pretty well spread. They got the early kill, but they didn't push the advantage well enough. They eventually lost by caps, so that's a bit of tough luck there. And now back to the main screen. So, same thing, give me a moment to update. So the next match will be a map ban. And that means more lobby work for me. I'm sorry, but put up with the silence for a moment. All right. So I'll be uploading the scoreboard. So give me another few seconds. I'm sorry for the waits, but a one-man casting team is not always the best, I guess. All right. Let's see what the maps. Yes, the maps for this week are River City, Forest Colony, and Viridian Bog. Clan Crossfire and Davion Strike Force are supposed to ban the maps. So Davion Strike Force banned Forest, and Clan Crossfire banned River City. They banned Viridian Bog. I'm sorry. The match will be taking place on River City. This time you have 425 tons to 450 tons, so that means lots and lots of assaults. Now, while we wait for the teams to get ready, let's hit the map strat to see what happened on the previous game, even though my memory is kind of failing me. Okay, so this time what Davion Strike Force, early game was a mirror of the early game from the first match. The only difference was that the lights from Team 1 tried to make a play for Gamma, where they were met with another light from Davion Strike Force and one of the Hellbringers overwatching it. And they got wrecked so hard. Straight away, 2 or 3 minutes into the game, one went down. And it was from there where it kind of looked really bleak for Clan Crossfire, but they managed to hold on to their tits. They were just holding the ridge, playing the passive game, but their wolf, their mechs managed to run across all of the map, get all of the caps that they needed. And because of the passive play on the hill, the superiority from having one up on the enemy team, it seems that Davion Strike Force got a little bit too complacent and they just traded from their space there without giving any damn about the caps. So in the end, the caps just piled up for Clan Crossfire, and they eventually won, even though they were disadvantaged to begin with. There was a really good play where they noticed that the cheetah from Davion Strike Force was trying to take Kappa. So it was here, and the Wolfhound ran in. And at that point, most of the mechs here just gave up their fight against high ground, you know, laser boom boom pow here. And they actually shifted over, Pasha shifted over along the ridge line while the large laser mechs tried to distract them and get a vantage point on Kappa as well. And as a result, Davion Strike Force was just not able to get Kappa off them. So yeah, there was a little bit of NASCARing by the lights in this game all in all, but even though Clan Crossfire should have had the advantage of 2 lights, they actually kind of wasted it because they did not expect the firing line at Gamma. By right, if Hexer had gotten away early, I think it would have ended much faster. Having lights in this game with a bit of range, like medium lasers, they can actually pick apart larger mechs. They're really annoying and hard to trade against because you know how long it takes just to line up a shot on them. And now, back to the main screen. We're still waiting for the teams to lock in. And once this match is over, you have some interviews and then everybody's favorite giveaway time. Alright, so both teams are currently ready, but before we go, let's just take a quick look at River City. So as you can see, all the cap points are in the upper city area. So what I would usually expect is that there will be a fight between the E7 F7 lines and E5 F5 with occasional skirmish at Theta. But we don't really know how that will turn out, right? We'll only find out when we enter the game and we see what everybody has to bring. With that being said, let's go! Tonnages are correct, and all of them are ready. Now let's just let the wheel spin as we load into River City. And here we go. River City! So let's take a look at the mechs. Right off the top of my head, it seems that Team 1 is going full on armor and Daka, while Team 2 is going for a more mobile version of the same deck. What I'm interested in, however, is the Stalker 3 FB that Eisenhorn has brought. What's on it? Large lasers. At the moment, it seems that Team 1 has the overwhelming armor advantage with all the Annihilators they're bringing, but well, it is a 2A and it got nerfed recently, so who am I to say? There's a play for Theta, 1 light against 2. Teklen is Piranha going for the cap, but there are two enemy Miss Lynxes, and he will be severely outgunned if he allows himself to get caught out. So that's Theta for Clan Crossfire.
Resource point Theta is ours.
The Annihilators have barely developed from their spawn. And the same goes for the assaults on the other side, even though they are supposed to be a little bit faster. What's on this Niger? Let's take a look.
Airstrike online.
It is the AC2 build, my favorite build for it.
We have
Although I run it with 6 UAC2s, but yes, the extreme range. Look at the range on those things, 999 meters. Sustained DPS, and it doesn't even get hot now.
Spotted.
And Bognar, he's firing out. I think he's taking pot shots on the lights. Hexer gets caught out.
Target spotted.
Airstrike online.
Target spotted.
Yep, he's just trying to minimize the damage he takes. He's stuck behind the rock.
Fuel at 25%.
He can't really move out from there because they're all staring at him, but he's progressing up into the blind spot.
UAV
Target
activated.
spotted.
Fuel at 25%.
Target spotted.
New target
Target
acquired.
spotted. Target spotted.
New target acquired.
Sorry, someone walked in on me. Okay, the Daka fight has begun. Strikes are flying left and right, and lots of AC fire is out. The only issue is that because it's a Daka fight, the Annihilators have to full commit. Krasnopesky has already taken quite a bit of damage, and the opponent has the range advantage. What Clan Crossfire would win in is a hit-on conflict if they just push straight into them Annihilator wall. But that is not happening because they're getting outranged really hard.
Fuel at 25%.
Target spotted. Target spotted.
Crash burn with the Mech and Mark IIB, but look at those arms. He's been twisting a little bit too much, I suppose. If his arms come off, he'll just be a stick. And that is not exactly good for him.
Target acquired.
Spotted.
This is why you don't twist in Mech and Mark IIBs. But on the other side of it, Mad Cat Mark II-1 with large lasers and gauss rifles,
spotted.
perfect for this kind of matchup. Now he sees the Annihilator, but the invisible walls get to him, I guess. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what the CXF lights are doing. They're floating around Theta, and Tackle is also there just to prevent a flank, if any. He's still fresh though. But the lights, they are probably playing a position play with Theta. They're not letting Davion Strike Force take Theta. Now back to the main. It seems like Davion has been taking a little too many strikes and hits. They've been peaking one by one again, it seems. Yes, right now they're actually pressing S. This is the perfect chance for Clan Crossfire to cross the water. Krasnal Pesky still taking damage against the Mad Cat Mark II-1. Perfect for long range fights. Sometimes you could run it with 4 large lasers, by the way. Captain Cat. Actually, I haven't seen what's on his Fafnir yet.
We've already gained a quarter
And it's
of
still
the resources.
fresh with
Keep
Guardian
it up.
ECM and 3 large lasers and 2 Gauss rifles. Extreme range Fafnir, and it hasn't been hit so far. It's only been tickled, but he's almost out of Gauss rifle ammunition. Nightjar has been leg, ST is wide open, it loses the ST. And it's... It's probably taken off by Hex Elite and the Mist Lynx. And so now they are chasing a squirrel. Trying to chase Hexer, and they have completely given up on trading on the mechs on the high ground because they have lost their advantage completely. Hexer is still fresh. Eisenhorn can't do much, he's gonna go down anytime soon. Same for the Night Gyre. Davion Strike Force moving into the Citadel. What could they be doing? They are very, very split up, and if Clan Crossfire decides to send both Miss Lynxes in, which they're doing right now, it could end very, very badly for Davion Strike Force. This is what lights are for. They're just going in and they're going to clean up everything. Pasha has destroyed Eisenhorn on the high ground. They're still feeling each other out because the lights are... If they push now, they're still pushing into a firing line, and they don't really want to lose the mechs. Now, the fight has started, and they have noticed that there may be people flanking behind. Hexer is going back to his main force, which is in good time because the Piranha is about to cap. And so, Clan Crossfire doing upkeep, they're just taking their own point, keeping it well. Piranha going all ham on Captain Cat. And Mad Cat Mark II-1 goes down while we are not watching. Let's take a look at the light fight. The Piranha is going to get licked very soon, but the machine guns are being, well, sprayed all over the place, and the Piranha goes down. Just couldn't take the heat from 2 lights and a Fafnir. On the Clan Crossfire side, they are moving up. Krasno Pesky. Well, he's hurt, but he doesn't really care. He's an Annihilator, I guess. And he's running AC2s, which explains the range DPS, why they were able to crank so much. But what's he going to do? Is he going to cap the point? That's interesting, I guess. But the Miss Lynxes, they're diving in the fight, they get a kill. And all they have to do now is clean up. It is overwhelmingly in Clan Crossfire's favor. And he gets the kill. Just a second late this time. Now they're gonna work on the Nas Mad Cat, and it's not looking good for Davion Strike Force. And they're down.
Gathered enough resources. This triumph will provide us huge tactical benefits.
It's a great position play by both teams, although it really depended on who got distracted by the lights first, I do suppose. On the match score side, Clan Crossfire, massive damage numbers. They were playing from quite long range, so there was a bit of bullet spread here and there. And as for the Davion Strike Force side, they managed to core quite a few of the mechs, but they just weren't able to clean up. Reason for that might have been the lack of lights. Yeah, I think that's it. They will trade, but the problem is when you trade and you're on the losing end, you just don't show yourself, and they can't do anything about it. If you are stealthy about playing, you can actually just get some kills here and there, even though you're already open. That's why you need a light to go in and finish it off, even if it's in a death ball. So, Clan Crossfire wins 6-0. Sorry, I got the wrong overlay. And I'll be running through the strategy one more time before I get the leaders of both sides in for a quick interview. Alright, so let's get to the map strat. So, as expected, most of the fatties were in the upper city. Most of the fight was actually long-range trading across the E and F lines. Where's the brush tool? Here it is. And there was a skirmish on Theta, which mostly stayed in Clan Crossfire hands because they had the two missed lynxes, which were making it difficult for the Arctic... No, it wasn't an Arctic, it was the Piranha, which was trying to get on. So the Piranha spent most of the game in this area, moving back and forth, trying to prevent the missed lynxes from moving any more forward. There was a missed lynx here, which would have been quite a good decoy. But the problem is the Piranha couldn't get that missed lynx because he was watched by the whole firing line up here. And in E5, they were making good trades at the very beginning, but then some of them got sidetracked to look at Theta. So they shifted over from the front line here over into here. And that caused the remaining team, which was a bit slow to maneuver, to take a lot of unnecessary damage. It didn't help that the Mad Cat Mark IIB had its arms open really early into the game. So I do suppose it has spent most of the game as a stick. And it was only after they realized, Clan Crossfire realized that Davion Strike Force was actually breaking up when the Piranha started moving this way with the Mad Cat behind it, trying to get a line on the main force at E7. And it's at that moment where some of the Annihilators started pushing, and that was one Annihilator. And the other three assaults were still on Gamma sitting down here, and they received the Piranha and the Mad Cat Mark II really well because the missed lynxes even went back to help all the way there. So, through doing the upkeep, they managed to keep the upper hand on the whole engagement. Props to them, I guess. Hello, Captain Cat.
Hello there.
Right, let's go back to the main overlay, and right now inside the room with me I have Captain Cat. I have reached out to Jim from the Davion Strike Force, hoping to get an interview, and well, say something so I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I bumped your volume all the way out. There should not be a reason for you to be unheard now.
I'll just blow everybody's ears out then instead.
Yep.
Alternate problem. Sorry for the banging in the background.
Yep, it's fine. So, I've noticed that Clan Crossfire has been playing a lot of different strategies. You went from heavy Daka, you went from ER large lasers, you even tried to bring the homing weapons. Were these all part of the plan, or do you come up with them on the spot? Were you looking forward to playing with them?
Yeah, they're definitely something we come up with over the week and in training, and then we do a training session and fine tune them after that. So yeah, pretty much variations on what we had practiced earlier in the week, and I guess the variation there is a lot about trying to keep the enemy guessing about what we're going to do next. We did the brawl supported by ECM on that first drop, and then did the lock-ons for the second drop. Just yeah, keep them on their toes.
Yeah, I noticed that on the second drop you had the Streak Huntsman and the ATM Huntsman. I was quite skeptical at first because it seemed like they managed to get into your blind spot, but you managed to get lots of burns on them clean. Could you tell me a little bit about what your strats for Polar Highlands? Which do you prefer, long range, mid, or close range?
Well, we've used that brawl strat before, and as long as it's supported by ECM, it can be really strong, especially because, if people were setting up for a ranged engagement with laser vomit and LRMs or that sort of thing, if the brawlers can get in relatively unscathed, then they can just DPS them down. So that's something that I think is quite suited to our skill set. The lock-ons is not such a comfortable thing for us. We have a few people in the unit who do play lock-ons, but for the most part, people prefer not to. So we were pushing ourselves to use that strat, and it was the things identified in practice is that we just needed to keep enough open ground between us and them that we can wear them down while they're coming in.
Okay. And one more question out of curiosity. For the map ban, did you actually practice or anything apart from River City?
In fact, we didn't practice River City. We practiced Forest Colony, just because we were kind of familiar with that River City strat already. So we put in a bit of time on Forest, but yeah.
It seems that River City is is a fan favorite of sorts. I've seen a lot of River City picks in the past few weeks. So, have you predicted it that you would be fighting in the upper city and just having a fortress battle there?
Well, pretty much how the 3-cap points are arranged with the one on either side and one in the middle. It's kind of guaranteed to be that fight as far as I can see. There's not much reason to be moving around below the citadel. So that was pretty much just went exactly how we were expecting.
Yep. All right. Thank you for your time.
No worries.
I'm still trying to reach out to Davion Strike Force. If you could poke them on MechWarrior Online, just do me a favor. I've also been poking them, but I haven't gotten a response so far.
Cool. I'll send them a message. Thanks so much for casting today. I'll look. Obviously, I didn't get to watch, but I'll look forward to jumping on stream and having a little watch later on, seeing from a god's eye view what happened.
Yeah, I missed some of the action, but the most of it was there, I guess. I think. Haha.
Some radio casts?
No radio casts. Just some points of time where I wasn't where the action was.
Yeah, right. Well, you're already doing better than some others, so good work today.
Right. Thank you for the time. And I'll be here doing the giveaways while waiting for Davion Strike Force if they do come. So, yep.
Rigged.
If you want, just go into chat, give me a shout.
Will do.
Right.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, catch you
Bye-bye.
around. And now, I guess it's everybody's favorite time of the stream. Everybody's favorite time of the stream, it is... While we wait for Davion Strike Force, actually, it is time for giveaways. And this time I have the audio working with the giveaway overlay, yeah? So let's see what goodies I have today. Right. I have 2 codes for MechBase and 1 code for 1KMC. So that's 3 people. Right now I'm just going to add the viewers. I'll abstain from it. Let's get Moobot out of here and let's get Commander Root out of here. Alright. So, when I spin this, I will PM you, and if you respond, I will give you the code. And here we go. Here's the first animation, and I'm giving away 1 mech bay. So the first one goes to Lefty Frizz. I'll PM him after the stream. If he doesn't claim it, then it's a code for the next stream. And now on to the next one. I shall remove him. I hope he is not a bot. I hope I have not messed up. Here is a spin for another mech bay. Let's go. I'm sorry, Matt Moesa, you missed it. Draven Cult 666 gets the second mech bay. Now let me just type that in. And the next one is for MC. Let's get Draven Cult out of here. I'm sorry. Let's spin it for 1k MC. Let's go. And for the next one, Shotgun Fists. Shotgun Fists gets 1k MC. Now let me type that down. So we have 3 names, and I'll be PMing them later and seeing if they have a response. These are Lefty Frizz, Draven Cult 666, and Shotgun Fists. And yes, I'm still waiting for Davion Strikeforce, but I haven't gotten a reply, so I think I might have to end the stream here. Yeah, the giveaways are done, and if they are forfeited, I will pass them on to the next MRBC stream. Yes, Davion Strikeforce has still not responded, so I think I will call the stream here, and thank you for watching MRBC. Look forward to the upcoming matches on the next few weeks. And thank you. By the way, thank you for watching, and I will see you another time. We are going back to the tournament TV for a short moment, and we will be ending the stream.